Hello, welcome to Sad Record.
Welcome to Sad Record.
Without one single voice effect, without one single special effect.
So, do you want to tell our millions of viewers or listeners why it's Sad Record?
All month I try to use soundboard. All month, crackle, crackle, crackle. So sad.
So sad.
So sad.
Well, welcome back to the Cine-Scoots podcast.
Welcome back.
I am Javier.
I'm Thano.
He is Sad Boy Thano.
So many nice buttons.
A lot of nice buttons. We'll figure it out, buddy. Don't worry.
We'll figure it out, exactly.
I have faith. So we are back after pretty much a month hiatus, I want to say.
A month
recording.
Hiatus. Like Blink 182.
Like
we took a hiatus.
Took a hiatus.
Yeah.
So last time we recorded was actually a while ago.
Yeah. Was it before you had the vid, or was it after you had the vid?
It was after I had the vid,
Right.
so it was like very early August.
Very early August.
And it's the end of the month.
It's the end of the month.
Have you singing some welfare carols? But yeah, as we were mentioning earlier, it is hard to get schedules going when we both started school.
And it's hard out here for a pimp.
It's hard out there for a pimp. You
Yeah.
can't push the Proud song anymore.
Can't push the Proud song anymore. Can't do the devil voice anymore.
Yeah.
It's all wrong.
You know, here's the thing though. I feel like even then, August has been a very eventful month.
Beautiful weather here in the Midwest.
Yeah, very good
Yeah.
weather. You know where the weather's also very good?
Down
Down at Mar-a-Lago.
at Mar-a-Lago.
Where our files had been stored, and
Yes.
that's where we had to go get them. Mm-hmm. The FBI had to go get our files, and that's why this is so late.
We went to go get our files like John Brown went to go raid Harper's Ferry.
Fucking damn it. Stano is wearing
My John Brown
his
shirt.
John Brown
One
shirt.
of two John Brown shirts.
We'll have to talk about why you have to John Brown.
He trampled Harper's Ferry with his 19 men so true.
Well, you know, at least we won't get copyrighted for that one. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about two...
Not one, but two films.
Not one, but two movies.
And I'm very excited we're doing these two films together. Do you know why?
Go on.
Because when you told me you were going to watch our first film, Prey, I thought you were going to watch our second film, Beast. Because I was completely unaware that Prey was happening. So when you're like, Prey, I'm like, the fucking Idris Elba movie with the lion? And then you're like, no, a Predator movie.
So, do me a favor really quick.
Yes.
Go to the voice recorder.
Yes.
And... Oh, yours is weird.
Why?
I was going to say, shrink the screen a little bit and then see if you can split your screen so that you can still see it on the other side.
Oh, okay.
It's just a security thing. So, like, if we see that it stops...
Oh, I see.
We can... So, normally...
Yeah. All right. That's fine. Hiya!
Do you not know how to do this? No.
No, I don't.
Do me a favor. Hold the Windows key.
Okay.
And then put arrow.
Which arrow?
Whichever direction you want.
What is this?
And then you can shrink the other one.
Oh, shrink which one? Shrink.
And down the middle,
Yeah.
you can push and... Oh. So if that goes away, then we know we're fucked.
So fancy. So fancy.
I'll cut all that
Yes.
out. So yeah, no. Prey was not the Idris Elba movie.
It was not but we watched the Idris Elba movie.
We did.
Today. Beast.
Today, less than...
Well, we've probably been here longer at my place of residence than the movie lasted.
Listen, Thanos' mom is a very hard woman to say no to.
Yeah, she is.
Thanos' mom's got that immigrant mom vibe where she's like, you want food? And you go, no. And she's like, here, try this and this and this and this.
We were not being sexual, everybody.
We were not.
We were not being sexual.
But, so, we're going to start with Prey. It's the movie that's been out the longest.
Yeah.
I feel by now, anyone who's seen it, like you said, I agree, has basically said
what there is to say. Yep. But it was goddamn good.
It's very good. So, funny enough, yesterday, I tricked my wife into watching it. I said, Katie, you are going to help me do some homework. Mm-hmm. We are going to watch Prey. And she was like, all right, I guess. And then I surprised her. I said, "Guess what? Surprise, motherfucker! You are going to have to read some subtitles." And she's like,
you watched the Comanche version?
Yeah, and she was like, "Why?" I'm like, "This movie's in fucking Comanche."
Yeah.
And she's like, "God damn it!"
Yeah.
So she had to actually pay attention.
Yeah.
And so, have you seen the Comanche version?
While distracted. Like, I was, like, doing dishes and, like...
Okay, so you were not, like, 100% paying attention.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of the neat thing, right? So I was watching it, and because you're watching it subbed...
Right.
You kind of have to pay attention or you miss the conversations, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen the movie before, but I've only seen it once, so I don't know exactly what's going on 100% of the time, right?
Right.
You kind of got to focus. And I really do kind of wish they had either done the movie entirely in Comanche, or they had just stuck with the English. It is really cool, though, to hear like them talking in their own language, which is really cool.
So I had heard people say that they like filmed a whole separate version in Comanche.
That was a rumor.
That was a rumor.
That was the intended plan.
It was a false rumor.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I think when I started watching the Comanche version, I think part of what led me to just immerse myself in my chores instead of the film was that I noticed pretty quickly that it was fucking dubbed, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So like, it sounds different. Yeah. Like you can tell that like the voices don't always match.
Right.
Like the ambiance, right?
So this film is dubbed in Comanche, like fucking Harry Potter is dubbed in French.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the it's still really cool because you have this group of native people in our country that are underrepresented.
Yep.
So it is. I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. Correct. It is extremely cool.
It doesn't hurt.
It does not. Yes. No. The movie is out there in English for those of you who want to watch it, and you will love it.
Yes.
I personally think this is my favorite Predator movie. I don't know your personal rankings for Predator movies.
So I've only seen the original.
Okay.
And then AVP. And this.
That's it?
That's it. And those two I saw in like middle school.
You gotta, yeah.
Yeah. So this is awesome. It was I forget what was making me think of this. I mean, obviously I grew up a big Harry Potter fan and I was really into the books. Mm-hmm. And as a result, I kind of disliked most of the movies. But one...
Harry Potter?
Yes, and this is what I'll say. But one critique that I had as a child of the movies that still stands the test of time is that they are just like that drab, grayish blue.
Yeah.
And like the latter ones. And like... Fucking the Predator movie was more colorful than a goddamn Harry Potter movie.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
There were a lot of really cool shots. A couple that I really liked is when they're chasing the mountain lion. Mm-hmm. There's that really cool scene where it's Naru on one end of the tree and then the fucking cougar on the other, and it's just all silhouette basically.
Yeah.
And even though it's like technically speaking all dark.
Right.
It's still like it has enough color that exactly.
Yeah, it pops.
So that was really really well done. I think, like we said, we're not gonna spend too much time on this movie, right. But it's important to kind of also address the criticism of like people going, well, she's a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
And you know, I think those people can shut the fuck up.
I think most people who, and here I also caveat, I like only kind of know what a Mary Sue is. Like I've seen the trope, but I feel like most people who like just scream Mary Sue don't even fully know what Mary Sue is. They just see other people scream it on Reddit, and then they scream it too.
So,
and like I think the main critique against those people is like, okay, if you would put a male in this role, exactly the same, would you level the same critique? And the answer is no. No,
absolutely not. These are the people who watched any other movie with a teenage boy who happens to beat up like robbers.
Yes.
And no one complains. They go, "Oh, this is so dope." You know, it's the male fantasy, and not that it just happens to be a girl.
Don't training sequences kind of negate Mary Sue-dom? I know they can't like fully negate it, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, and this movie has that. You know,
Yeah.
we are shown multiple times. Naru is able to. You know, she's great with medicine.
Yeah.
She is a very skilled fighter.
Yes.
She whoops like ass when she fights the kids in her own tribe.
Yeah.
You know, like these are like warrior. Yeah, they're kids, but they're still warriors.
Right.
They are trained and they go out and they hunt all these animals, and she kicks their ass pretty. You know,
Naru also has to leverage her intelligence.
Yes.
Which is something when we get into the second movie is one of the critiques that I have, but I'll save that until I get there.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the movie does kind of make it apparent that she doesn't necessarily have the fullest potential of like masculine strength. But you know what she does have to do is she does have to outwit the predator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you know, and I'm not the first person to make this point at all, but just like Arnold's only way of defeating the Predator in Predator 1 is he's got to like cover himself in mud and he's got to outsmart him, right? So both are really like kind of brains over brawn type films.
And it is also, you know, the whole criticism of Mary Sue is that like they magically know how to do things, right?
And she doesn't magically.
And she doesn't. Yeah, like
she's
you
part
see,
of the culture. That like this is her life.
and you know there are different things that she understands that things are wrong, right? She finds the skin snake, which is bizarre. She notices the green blood at one point. Yep. She notices the foot tracks.
Yep.
She sees that this is not
a normal.
This is not a normal animal, right? So it's all shown to us. Like we see it, and they don't. And that's the thing. Like you know how we always talk about show don't tell,
right?
And how movies a lot of the time they tell you this shows. She's practicing with her fucking dope ass rope.
Yeah.
Which
with
one?
The tomahawk and the trees. Yeah.
I do love the one joke. One of the guys goes, "Do you need a leash for your weapon?"
So one last thing I'll say about Mary Sudom is, let's say even if she was. Like in a standalone movie like this, also, and maybe my critique isn't fair enough here, but in a standalone movie like this, like who gives a fuck as much? Like here, I know. So Ray, I feel like is the biggest character that gets like Mary Sue criticism, right? And there's some good arguments against that, but I'll be like, okay, fine, like she's a Mary Sue, whatever. I think it's different when you have to like be with this person throughout like a trilogy, and like you have all that time and all that like. You know, the pressure of a franchise, like, on a person. And that's where I think being a Mary Sue is more egregious. But, like, this is a fucking Predator movie, right? Yeah. There's not, I mean, other than, like, some badass style, like, there's not much that has to be, to it.
You know, and I don't know if maybe that does help with, like, how glowing we are with this movie. That, like, you really don't expect a lot.
Yeah, you know.
But man, like they still went above and beyond. Like everything from hiring like actual like native people to help with scripting, helping with make sure the culture is, you know, being represented, through the authenticity of like the clothing, even the fucking like the weave baskets that they have are authentic. They're like handmade by people who are native. So like it's so much attention to detail that like it really reflects like both in front of and behind the screen.
No. So wait, really quickly, I don't think we gave it a formal rating, but
sure.
Go fucking see it. I mean,
absolutely.
You probably have already.
It's fucking on Hulu. Like, what excuse do you have?
Actually, also, all you Snyderverse people who are wasting your goddamn time, all you Snyderverse bots that were wasting your goddamn time, like this needs to be in theaters.
Oh, absolutely.
What was in Dolby today when we went to go see Beast? Fucking Top Gun, which obviously, like, we love us some Top Gun. Don't get me wrong, but like, if Top Gun can be in the main theater for months and months and months and months and months, then like, get the Snyderverse incels to give some love to get some love to Prey.
Yeah, maybe we can take all of their fucking like wasted effort and pivot it to some good.
You right wing incels.
That's really all I have for this. I am excited for the potential sequel.
So here's my question. So a lot of people have brought up this point, which is, It seems like they seem to have hit on the format that everybody wants, which is just stick the Predator in different time periods and like have him go ham.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is a long-term sustainable business model?
So I think there is a possibility for both. So I think Predator.
What is the other?
So we have the continuing Naru story.
Yep.
Her doing whatever, whether they want her to go on adventures with the Predators and do something.
Oh, I see.
Or having her train her tribe to defend against. Because I don't know if you saw in the credits. At the end, after they show the title card, there's a slight little 5-second addition to the animated credits where they have a Predator ship show up and the tribe people are like, fuck.
Yeah.
So there's that opening.
Yeah.
Which I would be interested in because I enjoyed this.
I'm more interested in that than the historical time jumping.
Yeah, and so then there's that option, right? So you could use it almost like an Assassin's Creed situation.
I was gonna make that comparison.
Where you can find the time, you can jump around in time periods, and if something hits, then you can continue that within a reasonable amount of time.
So
and
lots of Ezio.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. And then when that story runs out, then you can hop to something else, and if it sticks, cool. Yeah. If not, then you move on to the next.
It was interesting. I was gonna make the Assassin's Creed comparison, but oddly enough, from the realm of caution. Or and I don't know that this franchise would ever overload itself to the extent that AAA video games do.
Sure.
But if there were just so many of those Predator time jumping movies, I feel like there's too much potential to either have too many misses for the amount of hits, or then B just not enough creativity to go for it. But who knows? They haven't. I can't shit on something that hasn't been tried yet.
So one of the things that I find really fascinating about Predator, though, is Predator. I remember growing up, people fucking loved Predator.
Yeah.
And this was even in Mexico.
Yeah.
People loved Predator. People loved Alien. People loved Jason and all the slashers. And I don't know if it's just because I just never really paid attention. There are not that many Predator movies.
No.
There's Predator 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then there's a huge gap. And then you get AVP.
God bless AVP.
And you're there was a whole decade
without anything.
Yeah. So, and while they were pumping out fucking Freddy Krueger movies, they were pumping out Jason
Scream,
and Friday the 13th. Yeah. And this is something that you're you could do something with it. Right. And there's clearly the fact that this movie's so good shows that there is something here.
Yeah.
Of overcoming odds. Although I guess at a certain point it kind of gets old that you have to outsmart them.
Right.
Right. You got to do something. But I'm glad that this came out and was as good as it is.
I think of all the hammy stuff that exists. I enjoy a hammy Predator movie. I mean, as a kid, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I really loved AVP.
We kind of slapped.
The lore is completely unnecessary, but dude, whatever. So I would be down for an actual sequel, not just the time jumping.
So back in 2010, there was a movie that came out called Predators.
Yep.
Did you see that one?
No, but that one was not well.
No, it was actually good.
Was it?
It was very good.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Was it well received?
I think overall it was okay-ish received.
Yeah.
I can see.
I'm looking it up right now. I'll beat you.
6.4 on IMDb, which is not bad.
Not bad.
93%. No, that's not the right one. I think it's 2010.
Adrian Brody. Lawrence Fishburne.
It's got a...
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne, bitch. Danny Trejo. Yeah.
Do you know basically what the premise of the movie is?
I do not remember.
So basically what happens is all these people get taken by predators and they get dumped on the planet.
Okay.
And then they get hunted. So it's basically what are those movies called? I'm blinking on the numbers. But with people are hunting, it's almost
right.
like Hunger Games type-ish. And it was pretty cool. And also it ended with a cliffhanger,
Right.
where people were like, we're kind of excited to see what happens, and then it was like fucking radio silent until 2018.
Yeah.
And that movie was bad.
Yeah.
There was some whole shit about like autism
Oof.
and like evolution.
Yes, I've heard of this.
And
I've heard of this.
It was a wild movie.
Yeah.
But
was there an AVP too?
yes.
Yes.
AVP Requiem.
Are the aliens the good guys in that one?
No.
No. So
the Predators are still the good guys.
Still the good guys. That's good.
And they have to. You know how at the end of AVP they show the ship flying away and the fucking thing like comes out of the Predator.
Yeah.
It's all about tracking that shit down and killing it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It would be really cool if you could see it.
Yeah.
That movie was shot so fucking dark.
So sad.
You cannot see a damn. It was like
the long night.
the long night.
Yeah. So sad.
So sad. Anything else before we move on to Beast?
Nope. See it.
See it.
See it.
You have no excuse.
You have no excuse.
No excuse.
Yeah.
So now let's go on to our newest theatrical watch.
Expedition.
How many times have you been to the theaters lately?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, right?
I mean, I only pretty much go with you anymore. so whatever we saw last.
Well, yeah, I guess it was Nope.
It was Nope.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
So Beast.
Yes.
Beast is a very interesting movie, right? So it's basically man versus wild.
Man versus nature. Some good old naturalism.
Good old naturalism.
Literary era naturalism.
I don't want to talk about this movie without getting into it. So I will just say, honestly, it's not bad.
It's not bad. I keep needing to say this. There is a great film buried in here.
Somewhere deep in there.
There is a great better than The Revenant, which I don't particularly care for, but I think if you just fix some stuff with this movie and you did Revenant and this, I would be like, get that fucking Snow Bear shit up out of here.
That Snow Bear shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I had fun. For being as flawed as it was, it at least was just as long as it needed to be. Although I will kind of contradict myself later by saying it could have been longer.
Interesting.
But being longer for me would fix some of the flaws.
So I won't go against you, but I'll make some points that I think might help.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it's very interesting. It's a very interesting movie. If you have, I think, like matinee pricing and you can get in to see it for cheap,
yeah,
I think it's appropriate.
Or if you're not a fucking peasant,
or if you're not a fucking peasant like we are not,
yeah,
and you have A-list and you can go see 3 movies a week, go see it. Absolutely.
You know what else actually just attracted me to go to this movie? Not just, but like attracted me in the first place.
Yeah, what?
So I love me a monster movie, right? I also love me a monster movie that's a real monster, not a fake monster.
Yeah.
But most of those I feel like are sea critters. Like the alligator movie, Megalodon,
Lake Placid,
yeah,
even Anaconda, technically speaking.
And this, I was like, oh,
you don't see a lot
land critter.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of
minus The Revenant, but that is too pretentious for its own good.
But even then, I haven't seen The Revenant in a long time. Honestly, I can't remember. Is the bear the main threat?
You know, now that we're talking about it, I don't think so. But I mean,
it's what everybody talks about.
Everybody only remembers the bear.
But exactly. So I think it's about time.
Yes.
We have a lot of sharks.
A lot of sharks.
The shallows, open water.
Yep.
And you also do see a lot of like man versus nature movies. But man, this movie starts off with you going, yeah, these people fucking deserve it. So, I think by now a lot of people have come to know us a little bit better if they listen to us.
Our millions of fans.
And they know that I fucking love me some cats.
Cats.
As soon as you show me people killing a cat in some sort of way,
yeah,
I hope every person in this movie dies.
Which is but Idris Elba. I know what you just said, but Idris Elba didn't kill no cat.
Idris Elba is an innocent bystander.
Yeah.
But when one's got to go, all of them got to go.
So, can we get into spoiler territory?
Yes, absolutely. Go see it.
Go see it. Keep your expectations low.
Manageable.
And I think you'll have a fine time.
Yes.
This movie could have also been called just missed opportunity, the movie.
Missed opportunity.
But in that tone, missed opportunity, the movie.
Sure.
So, Idris Elba's friend...
Charlton
Copley.
What a name.
And I bring this up because, you just mentioned the poachers. He's mentioned as an anti-poacher, right? And then the better daughter, played by...
Is it... I think I missed this. I know the daughter mentions anti-poachers. And I know it's alluded at the beginning that he is one of them. But, they don't know at the beginning, right?
They don't know at the beginning, but when the poachers find him,
they
confirm.
Fuck.
Yes. And they say, he killed 3 of our men, right?
Uh-huh.
And the better daughter, she's like, I Googled them. They say they killed the poachers, right? Mm-hmm. And while the poachers confront Charlton, what a name. While the poachers confront Charlton, there's never a scene of, some anti-poachers, fucking up some poachers.
Nope.
Right?
That would be ideal.
This movie's PG-13, right?
R.
It's R?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, yes, I guess I'm not surprised, but I feel all right, if you're already R...
Show that shit,
right? There's, as we talk, I think more will come to mind. I want to save my point on characters not being Naru level potential and exciting for a little bit. But that's what I mean by missed opportunity. There was something there. There was a conflict where you could have had some great kills. You could have had some great character conflict. And it's just missing from the film.
So, speaking of character conflict.
Yeah.
All right. The daughters. All right. Ain't no one here to talk shit about Nora. Nora's the fucking best.
Yes.
Nora had some of the best zingers.
Yeah.
She had pretty good chemistry, I feel with Idris.
Oh, so Charlton Copley's the actor.
Charlton Copley's the actor. He plays a guy named Martin, right?
That's right. Yeah. Uncle Martin.
Uncle Martin. But my goodness, the older daughter, Mare.
So I don't hate. I was listening to some reviews on the way here.
Okay.
People hate her, and they're so stupid, going after her dad, honking the horn. I'm listen, I'm not saying it wasn't the wrong choice, but all I'm saying
these
is
are kids. They're scared.
These are kids. Also, you're in a glass window Jeep in the middle of Africa, right?
Yeah.
How long are you gonna wait in there, knowing that your dad is out in the jungle with this lion? Ain't no phone. The walkie-talkie's questionable. I don't blame her for leaving.
Yes.
For leaving the car.
Yeah.
But she is annoying.
There were a lot of times where she would make some comments that I was like, damn.
But you betrayed Mom.
Yeah. I think Jeremy talked about that in his review.
He did.
And at first I was like, maybe it's a little weird, but now watching it, I'm like, it really just seems out of fucking nowhere.
It does. That movie brings in the... So I think it does fall for the trap where, in monster movies, where the manufactured character drama is just ultimately exponentially less interesting than the Man v Beast drama. Mm-hmm. And it's ambitious in the sense that it plays that card right away.
Yeah, I mean,
and it does not land for anything but comedy. It does not land.
So one of the things that I do think is really good is the fact that Idris is not a badass in this movie.
No,
he does do some badass things, but his character is not the badass.
Not the badass.
That's Martin. That's Charlton Copley.
Yes, but you don't even get to see him be a badass.
Kind
of.
of.
Not a lot. Yeah.
I think it's also meant in a way, and I did really appreciate this. It's meant to be in a way so he doesn't undercut Idris' character. I think.
Right.
It would be kind of shitty if this is Idris' movie and Charlton Copley is the white man doing all the badass shit.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. But he's just a fucking stitch you up fucking doctor.
So that's okay. So this is a good segue to my point.
Sure.
In Prey, I think the director and the characters do a good job of using their environment and their skills, mm-hmm. right? In this movie, no one other than Idris doing just some normal doctor shit under pressure, right?
Sure,
Not fully normal doctor shit. But like no one other than him like uses any sort of like talent to be creative and think of ways to like fuck up the line and escape. But,
yeah.
Like there's that point where you're in the school and they're passing these like long metal hooks. Mm-hmm. And like earlier on, Nora's in the house and she's like, she sees like these sharp, rusty knives and like what looks like wire. I couldn't tell if
it's like barbed wire.
And she's like kind of intrigued. I'm like, oh, maybe this is foreshadowing. Like these girls are they're gonna use the tools around them to do something. They never have like that kind of moment, right? Like they kick the lion.
It's a lot of kicking the lion in the face. I will say one thing that was pretty smart, bold, brave, and stupid at the same time.
Yeah.
Was Nora rolling the window down and stabbing the lion in the ass with a trank dart.
That was cool.
I was like, yeah.
But that was it.
My thinking was that she was going to drop it so that the dad could pick it up and then shoot the lion.
Yeah.
I was not expecting her to just jab it in the ass.
But like when Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone is smarter.
Wildly different movies.
But that's okay. But you go to kind of these movies sometimes to see Home Alone, not in the sense that it's a children's Christmas comedy, but like you want to see the protagonist to be creative. You want to see them MacGyver this shit, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And other than the trank dart, other than like Charlton Copley taking his lighter and just like like Talibaning shit up, like you don't like. No one's that creative.
Yeah.
And I think
Idris does have that one scene with the snake.
That's cool.
That he used the note rope to scare the lion away.
But don't you feel like there should have been more of that from more of the characters?
I guess in a way. So that's where you run into the problem, right? These guys have, from my thinking of it and my rationalizing is, these guys are like pampered Americans. Yeah. They are not going to be acting remotely well under pressure.
But I also feel like if you were doing pampered Americans, then you cast Valley Girls, right? They don't act like Valley Girls. I'm not saying they have to be white. What I'm saying is that like these seem like nice, reasonable, like not spoiled kids. I guess pampered in the grand scheme of things.
Sure.
But like. They're I don't know, like I didn't get
because there's also the whole looming thing in the background of the dead mom, so we don't know how they would act if mom was A-okay and in the picture.
I don't even know what mom does other than that.
Other than dead
photography,
I think just photography, and dead. Those are her two traits.
Yeah.
She cute and from Kenya, and that's literally all we know.
Does it take place in Kenya? Also, as a side note,
wherever the fuck they are,
I know anytime you see a safari movie, like, and you did the Lion King theme, but like that montage of the animals was 100% Lion.
there is one shot, which is where I fucking lost it, where it shows like a little lake, and then all the birds fly, and I'm like, that is one shot for shot.
That is Lion
King.
Question for you.
Go.
Unrelated, but like back to our point on like gadgets and the lack and the lack thereof. Where is the climax of this movie?
I think it's climax of the movie would be the entire third act, right? Third act would be once they get in the Jeep and they drive to the church.
That doesn't fit well in a plot diagram.
No, but I mean that's where it is. It's them getting the daughter to the church, school, whatever.
The school, yeah.
And then him drawing the lion, to the other pride.
Yeah.
Which, call it predictable.
Right.
Like as soon as they said, oh, when the stray lion shows up, they're gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what he's gonna end up doing in the movie. I expected that to play out way different.
What, Chekhov's Lion Pride?
Chekhov's Lion Pride. Yeah. I knew it was going to come in, but I was expecting him to come a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But dude, he got fucking manhandled.
Dude, and I kind of appreciate that from the movie.
Dude, he got so fucked.
And so earlier on when he gets his first wound.
Yeah.
It takes a while for the movie to acknowledge the wound.
Adrenaline, man.
Yeah, and I will. Okay, but then even so, here there's many compliments I'm going to give to the camera shots, but I think an even more competent director would have taken that extra sec to linger on like
on the wound,
a gash or like a scream or something.
Sure.
And it takes a couple minutes before he's like, fucking got me. And while I saw his paw just like in there, I'm like, Idris Elba's like, he's got to be fucked, right? Like, I mean, this lion was all up in his leg grill.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to give like the hyper realistic critique, but he walks pretty fine throughout the whole movie, right?
So I think they're
He's
kind of
swimming in the
you know,
in the gator water.
The
gators, the crocodiles were never used. Other than
they were not
used.
They were not. We didn't get the obligatory X style where the gator comes out and chomps on someone.
Yeah.
That fucking scene before we go back to the leg thing.
Yeah.
You see Charles Copley show up. He gets jump scared, and it's these two massive fucking gators going into the lake. And like 5 seconds later, he's just like, I'm a mosey on down there. No! There is no way in hell a man who is as
well versed,
as smart as he is, would jump into a murky ass lake.
Yeah.
Within 10 seconds of these massive reptiles walking in.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that blew me away.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think the workaround with the leg was that the lion grabbed onto him as they were speeding away.
Yeah, and he said it wasn't like that deep.
And they do show that it is basically just some scratches.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as aggressive as the scratches that Martin got when he got attacked.
Right. But I mean, I'm not a lion talon expert, but I don't know. Like I've had a kitty cat like scratch me. Right.
That's the weird thing, right?
Yeah.
So as someone who has had cats a long time, there are scratches that you're like, whatever. And then there are some scratches that are like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like your fucking arm goes numb for a second. You're like, God damn.
Yeah.
So, there could be some varying.
It's a lion.
It is a lion. But like, if the lion does not get you good, it still shows that he got kind of fucked. But the one that I feel was more egregious was the one in the chest.
Yeah.
When he's on top of the car, on top of the Jeep,
and
the fucking lion just jumps, and like you see, like his fucking shoulders is like gashed, and like he doesn't fucking address it whatsoever. But I think the payoff for that is the fact that lion just abused him.
And I listened to Jeremy Jahns, I listened to Stuckman. And Stuckman was much more positive on the movie than Jeremy Jahns was. But he's like, no one's going into this thinking it's like a thinking cat movie. To which I agree. But I do think there was an interesting thematic play that could have been exploited more that would make the movie much more memorable. I think the fact that it's the pride that ends up killing the lion could really hit home if you like hit on the theme that in the relationship of like man versus nature, it's really man who's his biggest enemy, and like when you stop interfering with nature and let nature sort of like take care of itself, like man's gonna be like okay, right? I think if you hit on that theme more, I think then Chekhov's lion really, 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 really works. And I think maybe that theme is in play, and the fact that like the movie does, I think, kind of do a good job showing that these people are just utterly helpless,
just out of their element.
Yes,
100%.
But I wish it had showed them trying more.
Yeah.
Other than just trying to get back, like yes, they're trying to escape, but like trying to fight and survive the lion more than they actually did.
It seems like their survival was more like happenstance.
Yeah.
The only reason why they survive is because the fucking poachers show back up, and then like they steal the Jeep keys, and then they dip.
And them poachers got fucked.
But I think the fact that they showed the poachers killing all the lion's pride at the beginning, and then like you don't really get like the satisfaction of the lion fucking them up, because like they are
No.
essentially the reason.
Yeah, they're the reason. They're
Why-
the reason why
yeah,
this
they're the
lion's
reason why.
hashtag mad online.
And the lion is completely within the right
Lion is
of
in the
be
right.
of be
Yeah.
mad. My main criticism, if we want to move, because I'm surprised I'm as positive on this movie as I am.
Yeah, we sound very negative now.
No, if
but
I'm thinking about it, everything we've said has been like we had a good time.
we had a good time.
Some
but
crazy
we've
shit,
We've
yes.
talked a lot of critique. We've talked
Sure,
a lot of, yeah.
but just because you address some critiques does not mean that like you
No.
dislike it, right? But my actual like criticism that I think was it was definitely a stylistic choice, but one that I don't think panned out 100% is the overuse of long takes.
Right, we talked about this.
I don't know if this is a product of a small budget, and they were like, we don't have the time to be setting up all these shots. Let's just fucking try to get this nailed down. Because there were a lot of shots that, while very impressive, I'm not saying it's not impressive to coordinate everything that happens,
Right.
but some of them were just like so long and drawn out with very minimal or sometimes no payoff at all.
Yes, I'm gonna give my version of this in a second, but keep talking.
And so what you were saying that like maybe the movie could benefit from being a little longer, I think it just could benefit from being edited down a little bit in some places, and then that leaving room in the runtime for additional things.
Yeah. So when I say be longer, I mean don't elongate what's already there, but like add plot points.
Add some substance.
Yeah, add plot points. I agree with the critique on the long takes, but I'm going to take it from a different angle.
Sure.
If I were to give this movie notes, I would say keep the long takes because I enjoy them. I think it does make the film more visually interesting. But something needs to change with like the script or the pace of action where it needs to fit the pacing that the long take is showing us. Because I do think the long takes are, and at the end of the day, I don't know to what extent this is the director's fault, the screenwriter's fault, the editor, the editing team's fault. I know someone dropped the ball, but at the same point, I do think that even when they're like, even when they're walking into the town that just got fucked by the lion, like, that's still shot in like an interesting way, where I could have been bored to tears, and I wasn't. I did feel like something was off. I felt like beats of suspense that I should have been experiencing weren't there.
And I think that's the problem. Yeah. I don't mind long takes at all. I really do like them a lot. I think the problem is that a lot of those long takes, like I said, they feel like they're building up to something, but it's building up too much.
Too much, and there's not enough. For me, there's not enough cool there in the plot or in the character development. Yeah. But that's where my feedback would be. It wouldn't be change the directorial style of what your camera's doing. It would be get into this script.
Anything else that you would say would be a criticism for you? I don't have a lot, if I'm being honest.
The ones that I mentioned, I had. I think I do think it relies a bit too much on tell don't show from the dialogue. I do think some of the lines from the girls treat the audience like they're a little dumb.
What was the one at the end?
Well, there's one with the poachers. We're like, poachers, those are people who hunt animals.
Who hunt animals illegally.
Like, no shit.
But there was one at the very end of the movie where they're at the hospital. After he got fucking Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah.
And he's like laying in bed, and she makes a comment, and you went like, why do they gotta tell us this? And I was like, because this movie thinks we're fucking dumb.
I don't remember what it was.
I'm really upset.
I'm drawing a blank. I would also cut the entire Wakanda heaven sequence. There's no...
Yes.
That literally adds nothing to the film.
No. I think it would have been enough to have maybe one when he's like passed out and hallucinating.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he got fucking chopped up by the lion a little bit and he's had a long day. That one I could understand, but there were just a few too many where I was like, we don't need all
Yes.
these like dream sequences.
Yes.
There were, it's not a horror movie. It does have some solid jump scares, which are kind of fun for this type of movie with the lion popping up.
You do feel, I mean, when you're in that, so it's interesting. I also wonder maybe if it relied too much on realism, because here's what I'm going to say. The smart idea, I mean, really is to kind of stay in that Jeep. I mean, if you do have that OP lion just like lurking about, where else are you gonna go? And I do think where the movie kind of wins at its best is when that lion's just fucking up that Jeep.
Yeah, and it's weirdly terrifying, and I think the reason why that is because the lion looks so good.
The lion looks good. It's a smart lion.
It's a smart lion.
Yeah.
You can tell. So this movie doesn't have a huge budget, but you can tell they use that budget good on that CG for the lion, because a lot of the times I'm like, that looks like a fucking lion.
Yeah.
And the lion does a lot of shit that you're kind of like, yeah, this is a crafty fucking animal.
Yeah.
From like kind of setting the traps.
Yep.
I think Martin mentions that like he's using him as bait to draw them out of the car. The lion kind of like leaps a little bit, but it does go after him.
Yeah.
Which is where we see some of the action happen.
I like the second time it attacks the driver's window. So it's the first
where
time
he like walks away and then he just fucking runs in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Because you're like, oh, he's leaving.
At first I was like, oh, this lion missed the window. How did it forget? And then he's like, nope.
That's where he gets the leg.
That's where he gets.
That's where he gets the leg.
No,
and then
that's where he gets the girl.
Is it?
That's where he gets the girl. Yeah.
Oh, is that before they go off the side of the cliff?
Right. So first window is where he gets the leg.
You're right. You're right. There was that fucking scene where they go over the side of the cliff right before Martin bites it.
Yeah.
And fucking the lion just kind of like gets up. He's like, oh shit.
So that's where the lion I think was too broken. I was like, oh, this lion would not have made it. I don't think. Yeah. I know it was wounded, but like I don't know.
I guess they're out is the fact that technically speaking, Martin survived.
And it's a cat with 9 lives.
It is a cat with 9 lives.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you mentioned that Mutande got wounded, and she goes, "Is Mutande okay?" Nope. Mutande is not okay. Mutande is pretty fucked.
Speaking as a non-medical expert, I recently had my CPR training.
Sure.
And our lady told us, she's like, CPR does not save lives. It is the AED which saves a life. So then, while Idris Elba is giving CPR to Mutande, I'm like, I don't know what like Mutande didn't look like he was in the best physical shape to begin with. Like this man's a goner.
He is fucked.
Yeah.
His whole fucking side was like ripped up and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Mutande was not going anywhere. Yeah. And then they go, "Ooh, careful! Don't run over the body." But instead they run off the side of the fucking cliff. Maybe run over the dead body at that point.
Wait, they don't even say the body. I think they just say the man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm good.
Yeah.
This is go see it. I think
It was fun times.
a fun time for sure.
Yes.
I love the black lady who sat across a couple seats in front of us.
Yeah, we
With her-
clapped in this movie.
Yeah, she clapped first.
Yeah.
We were not being obnoxious.
No.
We heard that she was doing it, and we're like, all right, we're good to go.
But then I clapped.
Then
I
Donna
clapped. Yeah.
Um,
When she was like, "Shut your goddamn mouth."
Man. All right. Well, I will edit this.
Yeah.
Probably post it maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I don't know that there's a lot of movies immediately coming soon.
I don't know either, but we'll find something.
We'll find something. And then we got Labor Day coming up, so
Labor Day.
it'll be a little not too long. We do have to record for How I Met Your Mother, so we'll
We do
probably
have to-
record that soon.
Hopefully before the summer ends, so it can truly be How I Met Your Mother in the summer.
Oh, we got until September 20 something, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We can probably knock out 2 episodes soon.
I think so.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank
Until
you.
next time.
He's Javier.
And he's Thano. We will be back soon with another episode. Bye.
Bye.